the people in Uganda and every place, they love their children just like we do, but they're just more exposed to tragedy and death. In Uganda, in the area where Nyaka is, there's one physician for every 250,000 people. Here in America, there's maybe one for every 1,000 people when you include the specialists and things like that. People basically can go through their whole life without even ever seeing a physician. This has, dramatic consequences. I remember a young man came in and he had been scratched just on his face, and that had gotten infected and had not gotten treated. And so then he had a big abscess. It looked like almost like a lemon, maybe size thing on the side of his face. And because it wasn't, by the time he came in, the bacteria had gone through the portal of the eye into the brain, and then he had a brain abscess, and then he had seizures, and he died kind of very quickly. And I thought, my goodness, here we go to an urgent care and get an antibiotic at the very beginning.
Problem is people have very little access to medical or dental care. 80% of the people are subsistence farmers. So even if medical care were available, most couldn't afford it. 1 out of 120 women will die in childbirth. 14% of children die before their 5th birthday. And 8% die before their 1st birthday. And usually these are from things that are very common and very preventable illnesses. The Mummy Drayton Health Clinic opened in September of 2011. That's really the only health clinic in that area now. The school children and villagers can get diagnosed by the nurses. They can usually get provided the proper medications to hopefully take care of any basic things. I know they have a pretty good pharmacy. All services there are provided free of charge for the villagers.
So the clinic's presence, I think, is really a beautiful expression of Nyaka's mission. What we found at Nyaka, which started out as a school for AIDS orphans, is this: you cannot teach successfully children unless you begin to pay attention to the whole development environment. It can do basic dental care. They have a laboratory room, and then they have their own pharmacy room. They have certainly an area where you can do, labor and delivery can take place, and then just primary care, looking at blood pressure issues, listening to the heart and lungs and eye exams.
The clinic is really a big deal for the villagers. I would say 2,000 people came for the dedication. They got all dressed up in their finery. They had a big celebration. The members of Parliament were there, and they had a DJ. They danced. And they had a big feast afterwards. And just big, huge plates of food that these people don't get to see that very often.
It's been really an honor for me just to be associated with it. And I think that when you actually experience countries like Uganda, the aspiration, the hope, the joy of the children for a better life, relatively small amounts of material resources can catapult, children into a whole new trajectory, and you can make gentle, the life of the world. That's beautiful.